Let's bring it back to the decision-making process here, because it was reported, as you said, that the players had made the call the last few days, but it was actually Benji.
It was Benji. And look, I think that's an example that Benji is clearly running the show at the Wests Tigers. And he went to his senior players, as I'm sure a lot of coaches do. I'm sure even Craig Bellamy and Wayne Bennett would do that. But he went to the senior players and he said, this is what I'm thinking, right? Because the bloke who I feel for the most in all this is actually Lachlan Galvin. He's 19 years old. I didn't know what day it was when I was 19 years old. To have this much pressure, right, and millions of dollars on the table being offered and then being manipulated and cajoled into saying that you don't think that a bloke can coach. But Benji made the decision. He bounced it off the senior players. They clearly supported it. And then that's how we've got to where we are.
Was it in the best interest of the player for Benji to drop him for this week?
I say yes, because I think, Dave, that he was going to be in for a feral reception from the Wests Tigers supporters. I think he would have got booed with every touch. It's different to Daly Cherry Evans. He's given Manly 15 years of great service. I think Lockie was on a hiding to nothing.
Yeah, look, I get that. I say sit him out altogether.
For the whole season?
No, just not play reserve grade.
Not play at all.
Yeah.
Take the week off, mate. We saw how the Dragons handled the Francis Molo situation. Francis had an issue with the coaching staff. They said, take some time out, mate. Go away, right? It's resolved itself. It resolved itself. We didn't have any of the drama we've got here. I regret it, different circumstances. However, I say sit the kid out this weekend. The emotion, as we know, the emotion comes out of these issues in the game all the time. Take the emotion out of it, let it settle for a week, then come back to it.
I get it, Dave. I get that position, but at the same time, Lockie arrived at training yesterday. Benji spoke to him and said, you don't have to, but if you want to speak to the group, you can. Lockie agreed, and as you pointed out earlier, credit to him for having the gumption to do that. But then he actually said to the playing group, in essence, the key points were, boys, you do you, and I'll do me. I know there's big distractions at the moment, but you do you and I'll do me. Now, if I'm another one of the Wests Tigers players, I'm sitting there chewing broken glass while he says that.
I heard it went down horribly. And Webby mentioned it last night, and I spoke to some people inside the Wests Tigers camp today, and they reckon it was a disaster.
Okay. So you've just explained. You've just explained he's 19 years of age, and that you feel sorry for him, but you're happy for him to stand up in front of a playing group and explain himself.
When did we say we're happy?
Well, you're content that it happened.
Well, he was asked if he wanted to or not.
Well, do you agree that a 19-year-old should explain himself to a playing group?
It doesn't matter. He was asked to, and he said yes.
I've got no. I think you buy the ticket, you take the ride. You want the $1 million? This is the game, pal. Right? I've got no problems with it.
I think too. You make your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah.
This whole situation. You make your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah. And
so there's no.
And has he asked for releases yet? No.
You just said that he asked for one a year ago.
Are you serious?
No, are you serious? I meant on this time around. Has he requested a release?
Let's be honest.
Has he?
He's agitating
for
his agent is agitating for a release.
He has not requested a release.
You're trying to be official all of a sudden and say that has he asked for a release? What's going on, Dave?
Well, he has.
Can you not read between the lines here?
What's that?
He's not asking for a release. They're pushing for one. They're making it happen.
He didn't ask to be dropped the New South Wales Cup.
Hey?
He didn't ask.
No, but they've gone and got the RLPA involved.
He was having to play NRL.
They've gone and got the RLPA involved straight away. Isaac Moses is close with Clint Newton. Blind Freddie can see what's going on here, right? Now that they have told the Tigers...
Can you not see
I can see the way you see it.
Mate, if you walk into a meeting with a coach and say, you can't coach and I don't want to be here and you're 19 years old, how else is that going to end other than you trying to get out of the joint?
All right, now, this is an interesting one too. Jerome Luai, going to the club, 4 premierships, he's won at Penrith Panthers, and he's come into a new system, new coach, and he's had an immediate impact. But how have we seen his role this year, and how has he handled this situation?
Well, I'd throw it back at you, Braith, because you wore the number 6 jumper. But from an outside point of view, one thing I've noticed watching Lockie is how much work he does throughout the game. He's on the left side of the field, he's on the right side of the field, then he's having to carry through the middle, whereas Jerome, he's not playing the same style as he was at Penrith.
You know what? You watch the games this year and it even stands out more now. You know, I'm watching him thinking, geez, he's changed the way that he's playing this year, Jerome. You know, like he's very controlled. His kicking game's been on point. His game management's been superb. So he's actually put his ego aside, Jerome, this year for Lachlan Galvin to play the way Lachlan wants to play. And that's what builds so much emotion here. And this is why there's tension, and this is why the club is where it's at. We've got a 4-time premiership player going to a club and putting his ego aside and playing a different style of footy for a 19-year-old kid to keep him happy, right? And you can see that because Lachlan Galvin's actually played this year like Jerome did at the Panthers. He's drifting around, taking opportunities when he can, playing off the cup, making errors, but coming up with big plays, which is normally Jerome, right? Jerome's been the steady head. So he's actually gone, you know what? Team first mentality. Team first mentality. Yep. Whereas the other kids have been the opposite, and that's been shown by the reaction in all of this. So, I give so much credit to Jerome. Like, Jerome's copped so much over the years, and I think he's sort of proven everyone wrong long before now. Yeah, long before now. And that's why with that post the other day, I was okay with it because he's earned the right. You know, he's put the team first.
He has earned the right.
He has put his ego
I will
aside.
say this, and I'm going to come back at you. Yeah. He's got 2 clauses in his contract at the Wests Tigers.
So what?
So he can get out at the end of this year.
He doesn't want to get out. He's shown that.
So now he's staying 5 years, absolutely.
Well, no one knows that.
Well, he's got 2 clauses, but it's to Braith.
The evidence
team first.
Yeah, but hang on.
Team first.
Okay, then. So you're saying he's not putting the team first?
Well, you're saying
you're speculating. You're speculating.
He's got 2 get-out clauses.
No, but you're insinuating he's going to walk out.
Well, he's declared.
His actions showing you he's going to walk out on that club at any time
No way in the world.
So what are you just speculating for?
I would hope that he takes the clauses out of his contract.
Do you think that he will?
If he's a team first player, he will.
Yeah, because he's putting the team first. Can't you see the evidence of that?
Yeah, as a footballer. But why would you put clauses in your contract?
Because he's coming from the Panthers to the Tigers.
They had to convince him to get him there. They did. They're coming off 3 spoons.
And so why don't they convince
They didn't have a strong selling point. They tried. They gave him 6 million reasons. They gave him 6 million reasons
not
to
trying hard
stay.
enough. Take him to the finals.
Yeah. Okay.
Take who to the finals?
Lockie.
Well, they're 3 and 3.
Hold on.
They're 3 and 3. They are a chance.
So keep him in first grade, get to the finals.
Yeah.
Keep a player in first.
Do you know what? You don't develop him because he's leaving. You go and put effort into somewhere else. Because grass ain't greener with him.
You're spot on.
But then you're just playing straight to the manager's cards by releasing him.
No.
I don't think they will. I think the club will dig in.
I feel sorry for the Wests Tigers in this situation, right? They have developed the kid.
I do too, Gordy.
So, and the fans have been through a lot. The
100%.
manager did it to Tedesco, Woods and all those other guys, right? And now he's doing it again. I think the game needs to stand up for one, and kids can't keep on doing it. I did it 20 years ago. I paid the price, right? And Dragons had every right, and they showed some spine. And I'd like to see the clubs get back a little bit, just a little bit more muscle. And the managers don't have so much.
I couldn't agree more with you. By releasing him plays into the play that we're talking about, right?
Yep.
Keep him at the club and make the finals and convince him that
sit
way.
him in reserve grade.
It doesn't prove anything, sitting in reserve grade. What does it do? It only hurts Benji's coaching win and loss record.
He doesn't like Benji.
How would you feel if you were Benji and he's walked in and said, I don't think you can improve my football? Do you want him in your team then?
Probably not, no.
So that's going to be, but you know what?
Not,
I think Benji will put the team first. Yeah. I think he's back in reserve grade in the short term, right? But if he goes back, performs, and the Tigers need him back in the side, and he repairs things with his teammates,
that's the catch.
I think that may happen.
They're a better team with him in the side.
Yeah, but we'll see on Monday how they react. I'm looking forward to Monday. This can be a cracker, honestly. I think it'll build that resilience and camaraderie in the team. I'm looking forward to the response, and I think time will tell with that. But one thing that's for sure. With Benji Marshall as coach and Shane Richardson as the boss, they're not going to just let him go for nothing. They don't need the money. The money means nothing.
No,
so they'll
got to make something
They'll want
work.
a player in return. And what player are you going to give the Tigers from Parramatta or Bulldogs?
Mitchell Moses.
The Wests Tigers...
$1 million player for $1 million player.
Like, honestly.
The Wests Tigers have been a laughing stock and a doormat for too long. Other clubs have just cherry-picked their best talent and just walked all over them. But... to Richo's credit and to Benji's credit, they've shown some fortitude here. They've shown that they've got a set of stones. They're not going to be walked over. I think that Lockie will remain at the club for the remainder of this year. Beyond that, I'm not so certain. The other element of all of this and the whole Benji and Isaac Moses bust-up, you can trace it back at Concord to when John Bateman left and also when David Clemmer left. They're both managed by Isaac, right? Bateman had a spectacular bust-up with Benji at training.
Yeah.
You treat the kids like rock stars. You treat the senior players like kids. He finished up splitting, and then it was a similar, well, it wasn't a similar story with Clemmer, but Clemmer was also forced out of the joint. Isaac got his nose out of the joint about that, and I think this is part of a square-up.